Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to part 2 of my LEGO The Walking Dead custom painted minifigures to celebrate the season 6 finale tonight. These figures I've been working on for so long, I can't even tell you. I believe the oldest one I have in here is Tyreese. I made him back in like the summer. The good majority of them though are more recent figures. I've been working on the good majority of them since around like fall, around October-ish, around the beginning of the season 6. And I've spent so much time this spring break trying to get them done for this video for tonight's big episode, as you know, Negan. Which, one more quick thing I wanted to say before we get started, before we dive into these figures, is I did tease, in my teaser video, if you guys saw it, you know, the fun little video I did where I teased some of the figures, I did show a Negan figure in there, but Negan won't be in this video. I kind of lied to you guys. He's actually, I haven't completed him yet because I want to wait till after we see him in the show to actually paint the figure of him. But just as a little teaser for when part 3 comes out and you do see Negan, here's, I did get Lucille done. So Lucille is done and completed. I just still have to do, paint Negan. Like I said, I'm gonna do that probably next weekend. I want to wait till we see Negan in the actual series before I make a figure of him. But I've got 25 figures here for this part, so I hope you guys are you know, happy with the ones I got. And yeah, let's get started right away with Rick Grimes. So to start this video off, we have Rick Grimes, my Season 4/Season 5 variant of Rick Grimes. This is kind of when he's in his, you know, during the Terminus episodes. As you can see, he's painted in his brown leather jacket that he wears a lot. It's open, and then he's got his light gray shirt painted on underneath with some sweat stains around the collar area, as well as some blood stains, kind of, you know, left from Garrett's group, you know, and the hunters and all. He has brown shoes painted on. His little belt buckle is painted right onto the, you know, the figure's waist area, with the continuation of his jacket too. He's also got the pockets of the jacket painted right there, as well as the fur, and then the zipper of the jacket is kind of painted along the shirt. His hands are dry brushed a little bit. He's kind of showing up right now. Yeah, his hands are dry brushed with some brown. The gun is painted, as you can see, as AK, because I have his Colt Python with my other Rick figure, so that's why I armed him with the AK. But his AK has, as you can see, like some brown and some silver painted onto it. His legs are also dry brushed a little bit, you know, some brown, as you can kind of see. I don't know if it's showing up very well on camera. And then on his back we just have the continuation of the fur lining on his jacket, as well as his hair, which is a werewolf hair, with the ears sanded down, painted black, and then dry brushed light gray, or dark gray, I mean. So there is Rick Grimes. Next up, we have everybody's favorite, Daryl Dixon. As you can see with Daryl, he's basically painted with his dark gray collared shirt open. He has his he's painted his leather jacket, of course, with the sleeveless leather jacket. We got some details of the jacket, such as the buttons painted on. And then, as you can see, his arms are slightly dry brushed brown. And then his crossbow, of course, I redid the camo on it, which I think looks a lot better than it did before. And then it's got a black arrow with the lime green tip at the end of it, because, as you know, spoiler alert, you know, when Denise gets shot through the eye, that's kind of what the arrow looks like. You know, we see his arrows a lot in the show, but that was kind of like, you know, a very prominent use of them was when, you know, Dwight used it to kill Denise. His face, I repainted his eyebrows and his goatee in a dark brown to match his hair color. He's got shoes painted on, and then, of course, his angel wings painted on the back. I think that's one of the best details of this figure. They look pretty symmetrical, especially for, you know, me not being very good at doing that kind of thing. And they just look a lot better than my last Daryl figure. I really like the way these turned out. I don't know why they're showing up so bright. I think it has something to do with the lighting in here. But yeah, there is Daryl Dixon. Next up, we have Carl Grimes. He's kind of painted in his No Way Out getup. As you can see, he has his blue, you know, his blue, like, over shirt, whatever you want to call it. That's part of, you know, the standard figure, over his tan painted on undershirt, you know, with the buttons by the collar. He has his sleeves, you know, rolled up, so as you can see, he's got his skin showing on his arms. He has brown shoes painted on. he has this little handgun. No painting really on the back of his torso, but if we look at his head, as you can see, I have all of his hair painted along the edge of his head. And I might actually sculpt that with green stuff and then do another video on I might sculpt it with green stuff and then put it in part 3. I haven't decided quite yet. But as you can see, if we take off his hat, as you can see, it also has the gold tassels painted onto the hat. Along with the hair, we have the little bandage over his eye with the little bandage part painted white and then the little strap part painted a tannish color, so that we can kind of tell the difference between the two and tell that's like 2 separate pieces and not all one big thing. So, if we put his hat back on, there is Carl Grimes. Next up we have Glenn. As you can see, he's kind of painted. When I saw a bunch of painters, including Legomatic 9 and, I believe Recon Bricks Customs and a couple of others, when I saw that they painted their Glenn in, him wearing his, like, tan jacket that he wore in, like, the first half of Season 6, or the first couple episodes, I should say, I didn't want to paint him in that outfit just because, oh, whoops, sorry, I'm on the tripod. I didn't want to paint him in that outfit because I felt that, it had already been done. I want to do something new and unique, so I actually painted him in what he was wearing after the incident, in just the gray t-shirt that he was wearing underneath the jacket, when he crawls out from under the dumpster. So as you can see, he's just got some creases in his shirt. He has a lot of dirt stains and whatnot in this area around the collar. I don't know if this figure's showing up really well. You guys get the gist of him, even if he's not, though. But as you can see, he's got his brown shoes painted on. He has some dirt stains painted onto his pants. He's got, his nice, like, comb over hair. And then with his head, I actually decided to paint on the blood stains from after the whole dumpster incident. Thought that looked pretty cool. And then as you can see, he's got his sleeves, no sleeves on his short sleeve shirt, so I have his arms painted on there. And then he's just got some dirt stains in the back of his collar painted onto the back of his shirt. And there is Glenn. Next up we have Carol. And Carol, I think, turned out pretty cool. As you can see, her pants are dry brushed quite a bit. This is actually like my Season 4 variant of Carol. But yeah, she's got some dry brush pants, and then she has black boots painted on. She has her little knife holster attached to her, technically her left side, but our right side. And she has a continuation of her shirt painted onto her sleeves. She's also holding her knife. And then as you can see, she's got her pink shirt painted on with a gray undershirt, and then her skin showing at her collar. And then I just kind of, because the figure had like a little black strap or a little brown strap going across it, I thought it would just be kind of a cool idea to just like paint like, the gray strap across her like as like a gun strap or some sort of like bag or purse or something, I don't know. So I just thought that would be kind of neat. Nothing really on her back except for, it's a very boring back, just like the back collar of her shirt as well as the lines, to kind of show her figure. And then, of course, her head, I painted, as you can see, the wrinkles by the eyes and the mouth. I painted the eyebrows gray, and the real standout of this figure is definitely the green stuff, sculpted hair. I went through so many versions of what should I do for the hair. I had like 4 different, things in consideration. I finally decided to just sculpt it with green stuff. And while it turned out a little bit boxy or a little bit too rounded off, I think it still looks really good, and I am very happy with it. So, there is Carol, one of the most BA characters in the entire show, for sure. Next up we have Michonne, definitely one of my favorite characters at this point. I just love, her character. She's so awesome, and I actually really like the relationship she has with Rick, too, so I just think that's really cool. So as you can see with Michonne, she's kind of painted in, I believe the reference picture I was using was from the Season 6 premiere. She has kind of like just, a regular, like, tannish shirt underneath her brown vest, so she's kind of painted in that. As you can see, the shirt's like drooping down to her waist, and I've got all the little different dots on her belt buckle painted on. I'll kind of, here, maybe you guys can see those better. And then as you can see, her hair, I actually took the idea that from a few other painters, Jack Sparrow hair, except for, I sanded down some areas, and then I painted it all black, and then I put the little bandana right there, with, as you can see, it was like a tan bandana with some light blue stripes put in it. Her sword is painted in a silverish color with some blood at the end of it. Then the handle of the sword is actually, or her katana I should say, handle of her katana, as you can see, or not the handle, but like this little area right here, where the sheath would kind of meet the sword, or would kind of stop. That's painted in a dark tan color. The back of her torso is pretty plain. Nothing else really to say. As you can see, there's the back, because I didn't paint, because the hair would get complicated, it wouldn't really fit in very well if I painted the entire head, so. But yeah, the back of her torso, you can see, it's pretty plain, just with the continuation of her undershirt. And then there's the whole torso, and then there's her face. It's the same face from the last Michonne figure, because I didn't really want to mess with it and, mess it up. So I just kept the same one. Oops, she just fell off the stand. Anyway, there is Michonne. Next up we have Maggie, and this Maggie is pretty current, or at least in terms of her hair. As you can see with her hair, I actually painted it in, or I actually took a hairpiece from Prince of Persia, because as you know, in the last episode, or the most recent episode I should say, episode 15, East, she cuts her hair. She has the Enid cut her hair. So I basically took a Prince of Persia hairpiece. I cut the long part of it off. I sanded it down a little bit, and then I just painted the area where I sanded it, because the colors, just kind of matched the color. I think it looks pretty good. I only changed it just because I know she's probably going to keep that hairstyle throughout the long run of the show. If it was just a one-time thing, I would have kept her with her old hairstyle, but because it's probably what she's going to have for the rest of the duration of the show, I decided to keep it, or decided to make it like that. She's painted in what she was wearing in episode 8 and episode 9, with the blue. I think it was black, but I kind of saw it as blue too, so I decided to just kind of paint it blue. Like a little blue jacket. As you can see, she's got some buttons and some creases and a pocket. Then underneath it, she has a tannish tank top. And as you can see, she's got some details painted on there. You got her skin showing it by her collar. She has a pistol. She has some boots painted on, as well as some tears in her jeans. And then her belt buckle, I'm not a huge fan of for the belt area, but I think it still looks kind of cool. She has the little X's, that she kind of, the little X's that are on her belt, as well as the buckle on there. So like I said, not the coolest thing, but still turned out okay. And the back of her torso is just kind of some more details of the shirt, and then some these, lines showing her figure. So there is Maggie Greene, or Maggie Rhee, I guess now, because she's married to Glenn. So there's Maggie. Next up, we have Abraham, one of my favorite characters in the show at current point. I just think he's awesome. I hope he doesn't get Lucille'd tonight, as people are saying. I don't think he will. I think, like I said, I think it's either going to be Glenn or Daryl. But as you can see, he's painted in a white tank top that's dry brushed brown. He's got some, creases in it, some tucked down into the belt to create that illusion right there. He has blood on his hand. That was just a little mini detail I wanted to put on. That's basically supposed to be, remember when he scared off his family in that flashback in season 5? Remember he beat the guy to death and his hand was covered in blood, or his knuckles were? That was just a weird little detail I decided to put in just because I thought it looked kind of neat. Maybe I'll scrape that off in the future, but I just thought it looked kind of cool. As you can see, he's actually wearing the old pants I had on my season 4 Rick, with the shoes kind of painted into boots, because the Rick was wearing shoes. I just kind of added on to him and made him boots, because that's kind of more what Abraham wears. His arms and everything are dry brushed. As you can see, I painted his hair orange, and then I painted his mustache and his eyebrows orange too. I painted the big handlebar mustache, and he's got this submachine gun. And then there's the back details painted on, just kind of more dry brushing and a continuation of the tank top. And there is Abraham. Who's Negan? Next up, we have Sasha, a figure inspired by Flickr user DeLast Prime. He's pretty big into he's pretty big in the Walking Dead Lego community. So on Flickr. So if you guys want to check him out, I definitely recommend you do. He has some of the best painted figures I've seen, right up there with Lego Manic 9 and those guys. So I think she turned out pretty cool. As you can see, I kind of just repainted her jacket. She's kind of wearing a black undershirt. Some creases in that, and then as you can see, we've got some pockets, creases, and then the collar of her green, or Bob's green jacket painted on. We have sorry for that voice crack, by the way. We have the little yellow triangle symbol. We have the little red square. Now with her gun, also you can see I painted it looks pretty bad, but I kind of cut part of this gun off, and then I sanded up. I meant to say I painted the tip of it light gray to kind of show the silencer piece she has on the end of it. It just doesn't really look long enough. Her hair and her head are the same as my last Sasha figure. As you can see, she's got the short sleeves painted on, no boots, because I just felt the black shoes worked well for her. And then the back of her, I just have painted on her collar, as well as some creases in the jacket. So there's Sasha, a character I don't really care for that much, but I think the figure for her turned out really cool. Next up is Morgan. This is a figure that, he was one of the first ones I decided to update, because I just realized, okay, he just looks so bad. My old version, in my last video I praised him, but then when I go back and rewatch him, I'm like, oh, that's a bad figure. So I completely, just scraped all the paint off of the last one, and then I washed the torso, with what's it called, nail polish remover, and then I just went to work, just repainted everything. As you can see, he's kind of painted in like this jacket that he wears. I think he wore it in like JSS in some of the earlier episodes of this season, with a tan shirt painted underneath. You can see his little skin line. He's got some pockets and some creases, and then the continuation of the jacket painted onto his belt. His staff, as you can see, I had to continue with this Technic piece because I didn't have a piece like long enough, because I thought this brick was too short, but I didn't have a piece long enough to replace this, so I just put this on the end of it to make it longer. Maybe I'll sand it down a little bit someday in the future. He's got some blood stains painted on the end of his staff, which, everybody seems to paint that on their Morgan figure. I've never really seen his staff blood stained, but, whatever. He's got some brown shoes painted on. He's got black gloves, and then his face, actually, oh, by the way, I should show you the back. He's just got his hood, and then his, some more creases in the jacket. But, his face, I actually got this idea from another Flickr user. I don't remember his name, but basically what he did is he just painted it, rather than doing the faces that I was doing, just painting over the entire face and then painting on the facial details. He just painted around all the facial details, which I thought was a genius idea. Just kind of painted around the eyes and the mouth, which I tried, and it did turn out really well, although it was really hard to make. It was really hard to, kind of get everything just right, so that was a little annoying. And then I just kind of painted on the hairline, as you can see, and then I also painted on the eyebrows and then the goatee, so I think he turned out pretty well. So there is Morgan. All life is precious. Next up, we have probably my least favorite, main character of the show. Still one of, the coolest figures, I would say. As you can see, it's Beth. I don't know if I said that already. But basically, yeah, she's got brown boots painted on. She has she has dirt stains, painted onto her legs. She has her belt buckle painted on. She has her yellow shirt, which, as you can see, has some creases in it and then some buttons and everything. She has her hunting knife. She's not wearing any sleeves, or she's not wearing, any, I wanted to paint on the sleeves to continue the shirt with, but I didn't really have a paint that matched this color of the torso, and I didn't really know what to mix to make it. So I just kind of left it sleeveless, even though in reality this outfit that she wears should have sleeves on it, But as you can see, she got a scared face because she's usually scared of everything. She's just got, some details painted onto the back of her, such as, the collar of her shirt, and then some creases. And then she's got her short blonde hair in a ponytail. Or not short, I guess, but yeah, there's Beth. Sorry, I thought I heard something outside, that's why I stopped talking for a sec. But yeah, definitely not one of my favorite characters. Probably the hottest actress in the show. Just, as a character, was never really a fan of her. So, there is Beth. Next up, we have a figure, once again, inspired by The Last Prime. This is Eugene. He kind of painted his Eugene with just the blue shirt, but I wanted to take it a step further. I decided to paint him also wearing the dark gray jacket that he kind of wears, over his shirts. He's kind of like in his outfit that he wore in episode 14, I believe, was the one, the one where Denise gets killed and him and Abraham are out on the run. Not out on the run, but out on a run. But basically, yeah, so this is Eugene. As you can see, I spent quite a bit of time on him. His torso, I just have a blue button-up shirt painted on. His face is Ron's face from Harry Potter, but I repainted the eyebrows black, and then I painted some creases on his head. And I also painted some little stubble. As you can see, some stubble underneath his underneath that little crease under his mouth, or whatever you want to call that. I basically got this. Oh God, what do you call it? I can't think of the name of the hairstyle that he has. I'll think of it in a sec. But as you can see, with his legs, he has the skin painted on. Yeah, he has the skin painted on, as well as shoes. You know, brown shoes, and then his white socks showing through. Why can I not think of the name of this hairstyle? Oh God, it was big in the 80s. Oh my God, sorry guys, I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't think of what it's called, but I will say it. I will clarify it in the next figure. But there is Eugene. And mullet was the hairstyle I couldn't think of, guys. I apologize for that. I don't know why I was just drawing a blank there for a sec. Anyway, this next figure we have is Jesus. I think he turned out really cool. I experimented with a few different things with this figure. As you can see, underneath the trench coat, he has, you know, a little bit of like a chain. Then his belt buckle and his belt painted onto his legs. He has black boots on. He has a skin showing through, you know, on the area between his gloves and his arms. His hair is actually sculpted with green stuff, just kind of right onto the side of the figure's head. Underneath his on his torso, he's basically wearing what he wore in his introduction episode, you know, episode 10, the New World, was that what it was called? I think so. So as you can see, he's kind of painted, you know, he's like wearing like this vest that's like zipped up with a pocket and some creases on it. His jacket, of course, is made with construction paper. I went through like 2 versions of these. I think this version looks a lot better though. And I just really like the way that turned out. I want to experiment more with these, maybe put one on my governor figure or something. Maybe Negan, not sure. But yeah, he also has Indiana Jones's head with with his beard and eyebrows painted in like a dark brown to match the long hair. And then his hat is just like a regular, you know, beanie hat or whatever, painted blue. And then you can see he's got like a continuation of his hair on the back of his head, which probably should be longer. I might paint that longer in the future. But yeah, there is Jesus. This is one of the best figures of this entire showcase, I would say. And I can't wait to see Jesus be even more BA later on in the show. Next up, we have Shane, one of the best characters of the entire show, at least for the first few seasons, I would say. So as you can see with Shane, he's got some Indiana Jones legs that are dry brushed brown with a giant blood stain kind of running right there. Just for fun. There's not like a particular scene where that's from, it's just for fun. As you can see, he also has some he has some brown shoes painted on. His head is the same as the last time, but I did paint on in like a lighter, like tannish color, a hairline to I painted on the lighter tan color to make it look like, you know, the buzz cut that he has throughout the show. I got the idea from another Flickr user. On his torso, you can see he has some creases painted on, as well as you can kind of see, like, you know, like this, you know, like his breast line. I don't know really what you want to call that. It sounds weird calling him breast for a guy, but you know, like his chest. You can see like his chest. He also has no sleeves painted on, so you know, and then just like the brown or the black divider line, and then he has the collar of his shirt painted, you know, open. Well, not really open, but you know what I mean. And on the back of his shirt, we just got some, because it's kind of a muscle shirt, you can kind of see, like, you know, his back muscles showing through, as well as just some more creases, and then the back collar of his shirt. And he's also armed with this little pistol. So there is Shane. I'm showing up really bright right now. There is Shane Walsh. Next up, we have my Season 3/Season 4 variant of Rick Grimes. Well, I guess my last Rick was a Season 4 variant. This is kind of like my Season 4 first half variant of him. As you can see, he's kind of got the 5 o'clock shadow painted onto his head. He also has some cheekbones painted on. He has a shirt, an Indiana Jones shirt, which has kind of been, you know, just like completely dry brushed, like quite a bit actually, with dark brown. He has the rolled up sleeves. You can see, I think that looks pretty cool. As well as his skin painted on the lower part of the arms. He has part of his shirt hanging down to his belt. He has his belt buckle painted on, as well as some black shoes painted onto some jeans. And then the back of this figure, this looks really bad. I don't really like it, but I just have the back of his collar, as well as, you know, some more dry brushing. Then he's armed with, like I said earlier, his the Colt Python that I put on my Rick figure, my older Rick figure. And then also his hair. I apologize for this. His hair, I basically realized, you know, it looks better dark brown, and this original hairstyle I had painted in black, so I tried to scrape all the black paint out of it, but you can see there's still quite a bit of specks of black paint left in it, so I apologize for that. I'm going to get all that cleaned up soon, but I wanted to get it done for this video, so I just kind of left it. I got rid of as much as I could for now. So there is Rick Grimes and his Stuff Things variant. Keeping up with the trend of earlier season minifigures, our next figure is Lori Grimes, and this figure is pretty intricate in terms of the design, the pattern I have on her. That's why she might look a little bit sloppier than the rest. As you can see, she's basically painted in like this is basically kind of what she looks like in the episode where, spoiler, you know, where she dies, where she gives birth to baby Judith. This is from a season 3 episode, I think it was like 4, Killer Within, or episode 3 or something like that. Basically, yeah, it's kind of like a button-up shirt. She's wearing like a pink and, or I guess it was more purple in the show, but I kind of had a pinker. The torso looks a little bit more pink than the torso actually should. With some white stripes painted on though. She's not wearing any sleeves. You can kind of see the continuation of her undershirt onto her belt. She has black boots painted on. You can see we've got her pregnant stomach, which is sculpted with green stuff and then kind of painted around. That dark gray dot is supposed to be her belly button. I think it looks kind of funny. And then you can see we have her face, we have her long black hair, and then it doesn't look very clean, very pretty, but I do also have the continuation of the stripes on the back of the torso, which it looks alright. It doesn't look great, but it looks alright. I did that all last night, like I'm not even lying, that entire back I did in like a half hour last night, so. Yeah, there is Lori, so I think she looks pretty good, but she's definitely one of the most annoying characters in the show, and definitely an annoying figure to make, but still, I think the end result was pretty good. Next up we have Tyreese, and I apologize if this guy looks a little bit, you know, inferior to the rest of the figures. He is actually the oldest figure in this bunch. As I said in the intro, I made him, I believe, back in May, or like around May, around that type of area is when, like, you know, after I had done the first video, I realized that he looked really bad and I wanted to update him, so I did, and this is the final result. I decided to not really change much for this video, but as you can see, he's just got, you know, some blood stains and whatnot all over his pants. He has black shoes painted on. He has his hammer completely covered in blood, as in the first video. He has basically the part of this figure that's you know, new is mainly the torso, which I think turned out really cool, especially, you know, like the belt and everything. I think looks really neat. You know, Tyree's signature, like kind of like a belt that he wears. I mean, you see we've got some creases in his clothing, as well as a little patch of skin towards the top, towards his collar, and then just more blood stains and dirt stains, dry brushing, you know, around the figure. And of course he has the backpack. This is just kind of like, you know, the backpack of supplies, you know, the one they kind of carry baby Judith in. And then, yeah, his mouth, I actually gave him a new face, of course. I painted a yellow head black again, like I've done for a few other figures, and then I did his face. And I apologize if his mouth looks kind of weird. His mouth, because the mouth, when I painted on the mouth, it kind of connected with the beard. It looked really weird, so I went over it again with brown just recently, and then I repainted the mouth. So it might look a little weird, a little glossy. You know, because there's so much paint, there's so many layers of paint just on that one section of the figure, but I think all in all, he looks pretty cool. So there is Tyreese. For sure, one of my favorite figures of the showcase, as well as probably the most fun I had making a figure for this entire video. This is Dwight. I think Dwight just turned out really cool. As you can see, he's not as good as some of the other Dwights that just started showing up on Flickr recently. You know, like Legomatic 9 did one, the Moose Figs did one, Delast Prime did one. You know, theirs all look much better than this one, I would say, but I still like mine a lot. As you can see, he has the black leather jacket painted on with some buttons, and then the collar of it, and then whatnot. Then he has this red little button-up shirt painted on underneath with some buttons on that, and then a tank top painted under that with his skin showing. And then he has the continuation of the red sleeves painted onto his arms, as well as on his legs. He has the continuation of the red shirt, and then some black shoes. looks like there's something between his shoes there. I think that's just a little speck of paint, I'm not sure. And then as you can see, he has some tattoos, which weren't, I didn't really go into a lot of detail with them just because from back, just some black like squiggles and whatnot painted onto his arms for the tattoos. And then his face is what I really did work on. As you can see, I kind of sanded down this whole section of his face. I kind of repainted, some skin color to make it match the face a little bit better, and then I painted on the stubble again. Because, guys, it was really hard to just sand this area down. I had to, kind of sand the entire area of the face down. And then as you can see with his, see if I can get a good close-up on that. With his burn from Negan, I just kind of painted on some tan, and then went over with some red lines. It's kind of like a mixture of the way it looks in the comics as well as the way it looks in the show. I have his mustache painted on, and then I have the little purple under his eye painted. So I think that I kind of keep his hair to the side like this. You can see the scar better. So there is Dwight. I absolutely love this figure. And then on his back, just some more details. Just some more creases and whatnot in the leather jacket. I apologize for all the voice cracks right now. It's weird. But anyway, there is Dwight, and yeah, hope you guys like him. Next up, we have Merle. This is one of the figures that, actually, the main figure that really got me back into this, because this was, when I was looking back on my figure collection of Walking Dead figures, I realized, okay, Merle definitely needs some work. I pointed out in my last video, he was one of my worst ones from that video, so I decided to go to work and fix him up, and when I realized, hey, I can really, make some of these figures a lot better than they were before, that's kind of what got me into doing all these, because this part 2 was originally only supposed to consist of, 8 or 10 updated figures, but this one's got 25, so he's really kind of what got me back into it. So as you can see, even with that said though, he's not one of my favorites. He used to be, but not as much anymore. As you can see, he has the skin painted onto his shirt, as well as, a tank top underneath there. I've just kind of touched that up and painted it with my own colors. As you can see, he has his sleeves kind of rolled up. He has painted on hair, which is something I don't think I've ever seen anybody do with their Merle figure, but I definitely think it looks more like his hairstyle than a lot of the other ones I see people use. He has black shoes painted on, a little handgun. There's his back printing, and then of course his spike hand, which is, I think it turned out decent, but I don't love it. It's kind of made with green stuff, as well as the spike tip from my last spike hand that I had with him. And I think it looks good, it's just not long enough, the spike isn't long enough. I also have, some red kind of washed on, the end of it, they just dry brushed on. The whole thing's painted in, a metallic silver, as well as, the brown straps painted on, which I think the brown straps don't look that good, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, I might redo the spike hand and make a third version of it, and then put this figure in part 3 with the update of his spike hand, but let me know if you like it, or if you don't like it down in the comments, and, yeah, I will decide if I want to update it or not, based on your guys' opinion. So there is Merle. Next up, we have Andrea. I think she turned out pretty cool. As you can see, I've got just bloodstains galore on her arm over here. No particular scene this is taken from. I just wanted to do this for fun. I didn't really know what to do with her, so I figured, okay, I'll kind of do her. Okay, that sounded weird. I'll kind of paint her, all dirty and all covered in dirt and muck and blood and whatnot, so that's what I decided to do. As you can see, her torso is kind of dry brushed in brown. Same with her arm. Whoa, that was a bad voice crack. Same with the back of her torso. She has black boots painted on. God, I don't know what is up with my voice right now. She has black boots painted on. She has a little hole in her pants right here. She has a big blood stain on the side of her leg. Her hair, it's kind of hard to tell. I think it's starting to show through again, the yellow, but her hair is actually painted. I kind of went over it all with a tannish color. She has a little blood stain in the corner of her head up there, as you can see. So I think that looks pretty cool. And then if I take her hair off, sorry, it's kind of stiff. Take her hair off, you can just kind of see a continuation, some of the blood stains and whatnot on the figure. So pretty basic, but I still think, I didn't really know what to do with Andrea, so I figured I'd just kind of have fun, completely cover her in just blood and mud and stuff and dirt. So there is, oh yeah, she also does have a pistol too, so a standard Lego pistol. So there is Andrea. Next up we have Hershel. Definitely one of the best characters of the show in terms of, like, you know, moral compass and whatnot. So I absolutely love the way this figure turned out. As you can see, I completely hand painted his torso with, you know, it's kind of the same design that everybody paints their Hershel figure in. You know, he's got some creases underneath the straps, you know. He's got kind of like the buttons, you know, the little button-up part of his shirt, as well as the collar. And then I just kind of dry brushed the heck out of him. You know, as you can see, the legs and his arms, especially his arms, because, you know, he's taking care of sick people. I just have, you know, like blood stains kind of on the, you know, kind of along, like, you know, on his the upper part of his hands. I also have some blood stains on his legs as well. He has the metal part of his, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Prosthetic leg. Showing through right there. Then as you can see, I also have his brown shoes painted on. His hair is completely sculpted with green stuff, and then I just went over it with white paint. And then there's the back of his torso, you know, with the, I don't really like the way this area turned out and how it's, you know, kind of, this part's kind of like, you know, more like that, and then this is just, this is pretty straight, but this is kind of like curvy a little bit, you know, rounded a little bit. So I don't like that. I might paint that again. As you can see, with the gold and then the black parts of his little strap that leads down to his belt. He also has a belt buckle over, you know, right there, as well as some belt loops, which I don't think look that good, but oh well. And just some more bloodstains on it, and then there is Hershel, everybody's favorite Spaghetti Tuesday loving grandpa. And then to finish it all off, we have two walkers I want to show you guys. First up, we have Bicycle Girl Zombie. I just think she looks really cool. As you can see, I took a regular Lego skeleton. I painted, just, you know, dry brushed it with, you know, blood and then some dirt. I also painted the entire, like, before I did that, I painted the entire torso and the arms and everything a tannish color, which is kind of coming out of the shot. And then basically I sculpted the entrails and whatnot with green stuff. I think that looks really cool. Kind of see it like better from the back. But yeah, she was just a fun figure to make. She's got her hair, you know, painted on, and the blood kind of dripping from her mouth. And I kind of have blood on the side of her mouth, you know, 'cause she kind of had, like, her mouth was, like, ripped open almost. It was kind of, it's a weird, you know, figure. It's kind of hard to describe it. But yeah, I can't even put her in the stand, that's why I'm holding her. But yeah, Bicycle Girl, I just think it's a really memorable zombie, and I want to make a figure of her, and I might even make Teddy Bear Girl, you know, the girl, the little zombie holding the teddy bear, Rick's first kill, or the very first zombie kill in the entire show. I might even make a figure of her and put her in part 3, so stay tuned for that, hopefully. And yeah, there is Bicycle Girl Zombie. And then to cap this whole video off, we have my custom Lego Sophia as a walker. This figure, once again, was just kind of fun to make. I think I actually had her done by the time I made part 1, but she didn't look as good as I didn't have as much paint on her as I did now. Kind of, you know, touched her up for this video. But as you see, she's got, you know, brown shoes painted on. She has just dirt stains painted and blood stains painted on her legs, you know, with tears in it. Her torso, you know, the shirt she's wearing isn't accurate at all to what she actually wore in the scene, which isn't a big deal to me. I just wanted, you know, like a innocent little girl looking torso. You know, it's got the cupcake on. I thought, yeah, perfect, I'll just use that. And then she's got her giant, like, bite mark with some blood dripping down her shoulder right here. I believe that's where she got bit in the show. And then she's got the bags under her eyes. She's kind of got the sad look, you know, because she's not really a scary walker. She's more kind of like, you know, a sad walker, like she didn't, you know, she's just a little girl. Then I have the walker, the usual heads that I use for my walkers on her. She's got a little skin line painted right there on her collar. And then she has her hair painted all the way around. And it's not symmetrical, it doesn't look, you know, neat and tidy because she is a walker. So, you know, I didn't really spend a lot of time on that. And then just kind of dry brushed all the way around. And then there is Sophia as a walker, which I still believe the scene where she comes out of the barn is probably the most shocking and one of the saddest scenes in the entire show. And would probably be, like, in the top 5 moments in The Walking Dead, if you ask me. So let me know what you think of all these figures, guys, and let's close out this video. So there you guys have it, part 2 of my Lego The Walking Dead custom painted minifigures. Tell me which one was your favorite, which one you liked the best. Me, I have a couple favorites. I mean, I love, obviously, I mean, you know, the Rick and the Daryl that are both in the front, as you can see. Eugene, I think, turned out really good. So did, you know, Dwight. Carol, I thought turned out pretty good, at least in terms of, like, her hair. But yeah, let me know which one you guys like the best. Tell me your favorite down in the comments. Tell me what you thought of the finale tonight, or what you're expecting if you haven't seen it yet. And beware, guys, I'm leaving the comment section open to spoilers, so if anybody wants to talk spoilers about Negan's big entrance in tonight's episode, go right ahead. And yeah, so just spoiler warning if you haven't seen the episode yet. You may want to stay out of the comments. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Tell me what you think of them, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.